I'm standing in the village of Holley, New York. Holley is an Erie Canal town here in upstate New York. And in 1993, I received a grant to paint a mural for the Holley Historical Society. In 1986, the New York Central Railroad donated to the Society an original train depot. This train depot is right here behind me. The Society spent a lot of time and a lot of money in restoring it. They had to actually cut the depot in half to transport it to this location. It is now a historical museum that's open to the public, and it also houses my mural. The mural that I painted depicted a scene of what this area used to look like about 100 years ago. When they first built the Erie Canal, it ran alongside Holley and not through Holley. So what they did was they extended a little part of the canal out, which they called the loop. It's a little part of the canal that bridged out, went out, and through downtown Holley and back to the canal. This is called the loop. Now, the loop started over here where the canal was, and it ran through where the train depot now is. It used to be part of the canal. It used to be the loop. And it ran all the way through along where this parking lot is, and all the way back to the canal. And where this supermarket now stands, there used to be a mansion there. It was called the Frisbee Mansion. It was a very huge, glorious mansion. It had these giant pillars that were solid wood, and it sat right on the banks of the canal. Now, this is what I tried to depict in the mural, this scene and what it used to look like. When they reconstructed the canal and they widened it, this whole area of the loop was bypassed. They abandoned it and they filled it in, and until it came to what it looks like today, just a regular place without any water. So that's what I did in this mural. I tried to depict what this area looked like way back when. When I first received this grant, this mural, this train depot wasn't quite finished yet. So they didn't have any heat here. So I couldn't actually work on the mural here. So I decided to work on it in the studio and then install it here after I was done with it. Unfortunately, my studio wasn't large enough to work on such a big project, so I came up with the idea, since it was winter time, that I would go down south and work on the mural and then bring it back up here when I was done with it. So I used to live down in Nashville, Tennessee, so I decided to take a bus down there. I didn't trust my car, so I kind of took a roll of the dice and jumped on this Greyhound bus with my son, my 2-year-old son, Eddie, with the hopes of when I get down there I could find a car. Which is what happened. I got down there, I called around my friends, and I lined up a car. Somebody sold me this old Ford Escort for 50 bucks, and it ran good. I figured it'd get me around town, and I would just junk it and take a bus back. So I got a car lined up, and I called around my different artist friends, and I lined up a studio, a little 2-room house in downtown Nashville, and that was my studio that I could use for, I had approximately 4 months use out of it. So once I got down there, and I bought the canvas, I wrote it out on a wall down there, and I got to work on the project. And I got started, and here's what happened. The only image I had of the original scene was this old postcard that the Historical Society had given me to use. It features the old Erie Canal loop along with the Frisbee Mansion here on the left-hand side. I had to enlarge this image to a 5-foot by 13-foot mural. I then took this card and enlarged it on a Xerox machine and made a scale model with 1 inch equaling 1 foot. I then gridded it off into inch squares and then gridded off the large canvas into 1-foot squares. With this done, I transferred the drawing to the canvas. Once the drawing was completed, I began to fill in large areas of the canvas with a thin coat of acrylic paint. At this point, the picture is beginning to emerge. Once the picture is fairly laid out, I then begin to solidify it by using thicker paint and putting in some general details. I still avoid fine details at this point. I keep up this process of solidifying and adding thicker paint and building up the color and putting in more detail. After working on this mural for about 3.5 months, I finally got it done. Or up to a point where I was satisfied with it, where I knew I could do some finishing touches after it was installed. So I took the picture down with the wall, and I rolled it up, and I came back to New York. I liked the way that $50 car was running, so I thought I'd take my chances and drive it back up to New York, and I did that. I had no problems with that. I came back here to the train depot where I am right now, and I installed it, and here's what it looks like.